Okay, so like I said earlier, we're doing loop iterations, and we know what iteration means, right? You know what it means, you know what it entails, and we know that for us to use a for loop, it means you already know the number of time that particular code will have to run. That is when we use a for loop, right? And I said for us to use a for loop, we need to start with initialization, which means declaring a variable. And when is it going to start? That is initialization. So where is it starting? Is it starting from 0? Is it starting from 1? Right? And is it starting from any other thing that you feel like starting from, right? Then followed by a condition, then we have increment or decrement. So now, like I said, I have a for, we declare it, and what is going to be our initialization is we're going to start with let I be equals to 1, right? So basically, and I was explaining earlier that most times it's not always I. It should have, but I is just common from every angle, and that's why you always see I in every space that you are, right? So, but most times you can use any number. I can even use fat, maybe using a variable, a shortened form of your name. Say let fat be equals to, say I'm starting from 1, right? Then, which means another thing is all these things that we are writing on a line can as well be written on different lines, right? But because we already have a semicolon, right, which signifies the end of a particular line, so we can continue on that same line, and that's why we have what we have here, right? So we already have our initialization to let fat be equals to 1 and fat to be less than or equals to 10. Then we increase fat to be fat plus plus. So this fat plus plus means we add 1 to every fat value. So add and assign. Remember? Add and assign. So this is how to write and assign in JavaScript. So we can say console log Fatima. So it will always, if I console log this particular thing and I run this code right now, you will see Fatima 9 times, right? So let's check, or 10 times right now. So if you count it, it's going to be 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you see? It's executed 10 times, right? Because we said less than or equal to 10, right? So this is how to do this. And like I said, we have the initialization, we have the condition, we have the increment, which is called the steps, right? And that is how it works. Can you see how simple it is? So basically, this is just to use a console log is just to console into this particular thing. So most of the time, we can also use return statement. So we can say once this is happening, return a certain code, return fat. Do you understand what I'm saying? So these are things that we would want to use when we are trying to do a certain. So once we are done with JavaScript, I'm sure we are still going to have like 1 or 2 projects we are going to do together, implementing and using all the skill set we've learned so far before we now move to another aspect, right? So we are done with for loop with this simple example. So let's move to while loop. So do you have any question?
I know that understand something.
Okay, so let me hear. What is it that you don't understand?
Yes, sir.
What is it that you don't understand here?
So can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with you now.
Okay. So so let's say we used now we are console log we are console log Fatima.
Yeah.
How come is Fatima is replicating like 10 times? Why is it not fat?
Oh, okay. Why is it not fat? Wow. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So can you hear you again?
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, fine. I declared Fatima, right? I declared fat as a variable. Hello?
Fact, yes.
Yeah, I declared fat
Yes,
as a
sir.
variable, right?
Yes, sir.
What I'm trying to do here is simple, just simple thing. So which means I just want to console log Fatima just for us to see Fatima with this particular function I've given it, with this particular, this is just like a for syntax, right? It's just like a function, just the way we've written it right now, right? So what it means basically is I declared this particular how will I put it? I already know the number of times I want to declare these things. And that's why I'm using this, because I've stated it clearly that I want to see this thing 10 times. So I've declared a variable called fat to be 1, the conditions to be this, and the increment to be this. However, because this is the simplest form of making sure we have the result of what we did, the next thing I can do is just to do return. I can use a return statement and say return fat, depending on what I want to do. So which means I must have used something earlier, right, that will help me return this particular work, this particular variable. Do you understand what I'm saying? I must have used it earlier to help me return this variable.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that works. So if I return this particular work right now and I say run, of course, it's going to show me an empty statement. Why is it showing an empty thing? It's showing an empty because there is nothing like fat. I've not really, how will I put it? I've not really referenced fat to something else. So maybe perhaps I have a fat to be equals to something in the database just for it to bring it out. So please bring a certain name from the database that is equals to fat, right? So I can even come here and say maybe perhaps fat is equals to Fatima. Let's do it this way. And let's run and let's see what this will run. Sorry. Yes, now. Can you hear me? Hello? This thing is welcome to my phone.
Sir?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. I think let's finish everything. So maybe perhaps while doing an example, you will see how it works. But of course, instead of using this simplest form, which is the console.log, to console Fatima into the log, of course, this will return to the web pages, right? This returns to the web pages. If I'm using return will go to the web page, and that makes more sense, right? We're not going to see anything inside the console.log, and that's why you're having an empty console.log here, right? So, but of course, with this, we're going to have that. But maybe during the class, we will see how it works, right? We'll see how it works better. So this is showing fat is not defined. Where is fat not defined? Where is fat not defined? Sorry.